Join me, Remy Majala, every Monday to Thursday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on K24 TV.
Baada ya kutumia damu ya Yesu na mwili wa Yesu Kristo, shine, 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 you shine and you shine, and just in the name of Jesus.
Multi bonus, zidisha ushindi wako hadi 1,000 na multi bonus 1000%. Kuwa mshindi, Mozart Bet.
Now, let's continue with the bulletin. And faith-based hospitals are on the brink of a closure if the government does not clear its outstanding debt of over 5 billion Kenya shillings owed to them. As these facilities transition to the new health cover system, they claim the government has yet to address the payment owed by the now defunct National Health Insurance Fund. Milia Kisienya reports on how the government's inaction could jeopardize over 80% of these faith-based hospitals.
As the government shifts from the challenges of NHIF to the implementation of the new Social Health Authority, faith-based hospitals are expressing demands over unpaid debts and unresolved issues in the new contract.
NHIF hiyo watamaliza. Kwa sababu ndio wanasukumia watu mpaka tuingie katika SHA, tuingie katika SHIF. Kwa hivyo NHIF itakuwa imefutiliwa habari. Na sasa uoga wetu ni je? Kwa sababu imefutiliwa habari na kuna madeni ambao hatujalipwa, pesa tutalipwa na nani?
They have rejected the Social Health Authority contracts, citing unpaid dues and unfavorable contract terms. We speak to Joseph Ngige, a representative from the National Council of Churches of Kenya, a policy advocate for the faith-based hospitals. More harm than good.
The percent ya Wakenya wote wanahudumiwa na hospitali ya kikanisa. Si kanisa inapaswa kuwa inasikilizwa kwa njia kuu. Pesa tunandai serikali ni over 5 billion.
Ngige argues that faith-based hospitals have provided quality medical care for the disadvantaged communities, especially where government facilities struggle with drug shortages and mismanagement.
Serikali isipoachilia hii fedha, itaweza kuwa vingumu kuendelesha hii biashara.
However, due to the mounting debt and financial challenges, they may be forced to shut down. Shortage of essential drug supplies, insufficient resources, including beds and equipment, delays in staff salary payments, limited capacity to offer essential health services, and debts from bank and SACCO loans.
Tunaona katika nchi yetu ya Kenya, mambo mengi sipotipitia katika politics, haiwezi kaenda through. Na tunaangalia tunaona kuna siasa mingi katika hii mfumo.
Despite the government announcing a disbursement of 9 billion Kenya shillings to clear debts, they have yet to receive any funds. Although they claim they were involved in the policy formulation process and shared their reservations, the government, however, has consistently ignored their input, and now they claim a dark cloud hovers over the health sector. Milia Kisienya for K24 TV, Nairobi County.
Well, thank you very much, Milia Kisienya, for that detailed report. Now, if you want to know what is happening in the transition from NHIF to SHA, in a matter that directly affects you, this is the place to be. You'll be here to dissect what is happening, who is to blame, and what next? What can the government do to ensure that the mess and the challenges being faced in the transition from NHIF to SHA is totally sorted out, even as patients, especially those suffering from chronic illnesses, continue to, of course, pay the price? David Kagina, I now hand over to you. Take it away.
Well, indeed, thank you, Ian Keitani. Here we continue with the conversation cutting across K24 TV and Kameme TV, just interrogating the Social Health Authority and the three funds under it, more especially the Social Health Insurance Fund, that is the chief. And with me in studio today are two guests who had earlier introduced themselves, but for the sake of you who are joining us right now, we have Bishop Dr. Joseph Ngigi, who is a member of the NCCK. We also have Bernard Mushere, who is a fraud risk management consultant, and we are going to be having this conversation at large. But before then, Parliament yesterday had the opportunity to discuss SHA and SHIF, to be precise, and this here is what they had to say about the fund.
And therefore they have a problem. I mean, how do you tell me to continue treating patients under a new program and you've not sorted my previous debts? And I know this is the problem. Most hospitals, by the way, the ones that are rejecting patients, they are rejecting patients because they feel that honestly, somebody needed to come out very clearly and tell them, we are migrating. But are we migrating with your debts? Are we migrating with your problems that we have not sorted under former NHIF? So this is the problem, Mr. Speaker. And let us not come here and read numbers. I appreciate the numbers that have been read out here by Majority Leader, numbers read out by our Health Chair Committee, Dr. Robert Pukose. But numbers is not what our people are waiting for. From this debate, they're waiting to hear how are they going to be treated tomorrow in hospitals, Mr. Speaker.
Private hospitals provide health care, Honorable Speaker. These are people you can never negotiate with. But when our people go, they are turned away. When they go to public hospitals, they are turned away. Where will the Kenyan poor, Honorable Speaker, go to? As a member of Parliament, I go to the constituency. I am told by my teaching community, I am told by the elite of the community, please talk about she, sha, show.
From right there, you can see the confusion that's currently ongoing with the she, sha, and show, as the member of Parliament right there has just said. But before we get to the conversation, President William Ruto has also had a chance to weigh in on the conversation on the transition from chief, from NHIF to the current chief. And here is what he had to say.
Mambo ya matibabu pale nyuma tumekuwa na matatizo na NHIF. Saa hizi NHIF iko na deni ya bilioni 30 ya facilities ya Kenya ambayo saa hii inang'ang'ana kulipa. Kwa sababu ile ilikuwa na shida ya kwamba services wana provide ni ya pesa nyingi kuliko ile pesa inapatikana kupitia hiyo program. Na ndio tumetengeneza sheria mpya. Na mimi nashukuru wabunge. Tumetengeneza 4 new pieces of legislation ili tusimamie mambo ya matibabu ya Kenya. Just imagine, kuna watu ulikuwa unaenda hospitali, uko na kansa, uko na diabetes. Daktari anakuambia, sasa wewe, hii kansa mahali imefika, huna pesa ya kuendelea na matibabu. Wewe enda nyumbani, ungojee kifo.
Going by the numbers that the president has given right there, 30 billion shillings in debt owed to private hospitals by NHIF. Now, with the transition, it would be interesting to get to know whether this debt has either started to be paid or there are hopes of it being paid. Remember, in Kenya, we mentioned at least 80% of hospitals are faith-based. And joining me right now is Joseph Ngigi, a member of the NCCK, people who are on the forefront on policy formulation on the conduct and operations of faith-based hospitals that make up the 80% of the hospitals in our country.
Yes.
Has the debt started to be settled, and how much are you owed?
That's a very serious problem at this time. When we talk of debt, which has been generated out of the NHIF, and since the new program of SHIF was instituted, there was no clear guideline on how people will shift from NHIF to SHIF. And that's one of the problem comes in. Because if it's a faith-based hospital, we have been operating under the NHIF, and we have been treating people. And the program, the SHIF program has been established immediately, and there is a rush to make this process work. And there has been no clear guideline on how the debt is going to be cleared. How does the government expect the faith-based hospitals to operate with this huge debt? If the president has confirmed that there is a debt of over 30 million, and the faith-based hospitals have been owed over 5 billion, how are you going to do? And this does not stop the sickness. The diseases are still there. And people are still coming to the hospital expecting treatment. We have no facilities. We have no equipment. We have no medicines. How are we going to offer health services to our people? It's a critical issue. We are in a very serious problem when it comes to the health issues in this country. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And just turning to Bernard Moshere, who is a fraud risk management consultant, we saw you table initially a report before Parliament on the fraud that was witnessed with the NHIF, talk of about 21 billion in money through various loopholes within the system, including some being overpayment, some being claims for operations not done, and fraudulent procurement procedures. Is that are the loopholes currently being sealed within the transition to the Social Health Insurance Fund?
Before I answer that, my take is this, and the question is, why do we find ourselves with this problem we have here? Mm-hmm. What was the purpose of moving away from NHIF to SHA? Now, what was the problem with the NHIF? NHIF is a National Hospital Insurance Fund. It is a fund. It started as National Health Insurance Fund. Then there was an amendment to the Act in 2022. It became National Hospital, from National Health Insurance Fund to National. What happens when you are establishing a fund? You establish a fund because of a certain objective. What was the objective of NHIF? What is the objective of SHA? You cannot move, it is the same objective. Why start another act for the same objective?
Going by the answer that the Deputy Government Spokesperson, Mwanaisha Chizuga, has given, is that SHA is now automated to seal the loopholes that were there in NHIF.
NHIF was automated. And as far as I'm concerned, it had problems. But around 2023, there was a report. There was a committee which had been established, and they came up with a report. And they were actually trying to seal the reports in the NHI, the system which they were using. Mm-hmm. There's no system which is foolproof. Then, and at that time, they recommended that if they do the system, they were to use only 1.4 billion shillings to improve the system.
Mm-hmm. The one that was there now.
The one which was there. Mm-hmm. That was the recommendation. But now, which could have improved the NHIF, because the fraud which is in NHIF, which was in NHIF, it will continue, because fraud is committed by overriding the controls. You see? Not that the Act had such weaknesses. Because if you look at SHA and look at the NHIF, most of the things are copy and paste, the provisions of that Act. They are copy and paste. In fact, if I look at the SHA, it is weaker. The NHIF had more safeguards for the public money than SHA. Because now that fraud I reported, it was actually schemed by the board.
The NHIF board?
Yes. So what will make the NHIF not to scheme the same thing? Because they came up with claims, fictitious claims, called incurred but not reported. You cannot have that kind of a claim, because what they are saying, there were claims which were not reported for a very long time. And you know the system of the NHIF, it was real-time reporting. You go to a hospital, you must present the necessary documents. Before they came up with this system, the digital system, one used to go with an ID. And they had to inquire from the NHIF so that they can give you, they can give the authority to continue treating that person. This other one, it was biometric. It was real time. So now, there's no way claims could not have been reported. So now they came up with that fraud scheme. What will prevent? Where is this act? What safeguards does this act have which are more adequate or more better than the NHIF? I would like somebody to show me. So it is not the act. The problem is not the act. The problem is the players, the people who are managing the system.
But just to ask a question, if the problem is not the act, how comes there is lots of issues raised with the transition?
Because it was actually illegally, if I say that. Illegally, the transition was illegal. Because when you want to transit from one institute to another, like a fund, the Cabinet Secretary, Treasury, is required by the Act to come up with the guidelines on how to shift to the other one. And before you shift, there must be a financial statement. Be prepared for the old one and be audited by the auditor. So that now, because this one is taking over the assets of this other one, so that we can know the liabilities, the financial position of that, so that now they would have known the hospitals owe so much, and audited, so that it can take over the liabilities. You are taking over the assets together with the liabilities. And whatever you are taking over, you must know. Now, it was rushed. That was not done. And that's why I'm saying the whole shifting was illegal. We never followed the law on wiping up this one and starting this. And that's why we're having this problem, when you override the provisions of the law.
Very interesting right there. Now, even as we question the transition and make it clear that there was no proper auditing to move on the assets, and that's why we have like faith-based hospitals who are owed now, being at a position where they cannot offer the health services to the clientele. But just paint for us a picture, Dr. Ari, just paint a picture of how the faith-based hospital are currently operating as we speak.
Thank you so much. I would like first of all to understand what was the core mandate of NHIF and what is the core mandate of SHIF. Are they the same? They are the same. Why was there to change the NHIF to SHIF, whereas we could have upgraded the NHIF to continue working? And when we talk of the faith-based hospitals and the current situation which is in these hospitals, where are we really heading? Why should we pray with the health of the lives of Kenyans? And yet, we have been mandated by the Constitution to protect the lives. If we can let the lives of Kenyans to be lost simply because the hospitals are not in a position to offer health services to them, definitely we are losing lives. And our question is, how many lives should be lost for the SHIF to operate? It's a question that every Kenyan can ask. Who else is on the line to die before the SHIF process is operational? It's really serious.
And Dr. Looking at the Social Health Authority claims summary,
right?
That is between October 1, 2024 and November 4th, 2024. We have around 156,037 claims, and the claim value of that is around 2.6 billion.
Right.
And among the providers are 2,976 providers of these services. Do you want to tell me that this is not yet meeting the basis for operation for the faith-based?
Are they realistic on that? We spend money in the hospitals. We have to provide the services to those patients who come to the hospital. If they come and the process of shifting from NHIF to SHIF has not been established, how do you expect this patient to be offered the services? If for true the claims are there who are claiming, because most of the patients who are attending the health facilities, they are not in the SHIF program and they are not in NHIF because NHIF has been suspended. It's no longer operational. We have to operate at the SHIF. And when you look at those figures, even if the claims are there, are they met? Why are patients being sent away or requested to pay, or they are required to pay cash if the money is there? Because are we going to offer services to patients for free? The equipment have been bought. The facilities have been bought. The medics are there and they're waiting for the salary. If the system is not working, how are we going to offer services to our patients who are attending our hospitals?
And have you tried? I understand that the acting CEO Elijah Washira was sent on a compulsory leave on grounds of misuse of office as well as being a hindrance to the transition. But have you tried to reach out and have you had any form of response from them?
Let me ask you. He has been in the office for 1 year. 1 year. Since the enact health bill was passed. That was in September 2023. And after that, it was to be implemented in November 2023. That means the former CEO was appointed during that period on acting capacity. I tried to pose a question. Why has he been working on acting capacity all through the whole year? And instead of confirmation, because maybe he understands about the the chief, he has been sent to a compulsory leave pending investigations. And this person, for the 3 months, he will continue to be paid the whole salary. He will enjoy all the benefits, and yet there is another person who has come in the office. And according to the information that he was supposed to hand over the office immediately. What does this handing over means? There must be a briefing. Is briefing being done to the new incoming, also acting, the CEO? How long will these CEOs work on, on the basis of acting capacity? Will there be a progressive process from this CEO to the other CEO? Are these things done in the right manner? You cannot just tell somebody keep off from the office without the proper transition, whereas we understand the chief process has not been fully implemented. That means there is a lot of information maybe which will get lost along the way. By the time the new CEO will be conversant with the information on the chief, on the SHA, it will also take time. It will take time.
Bernard, do you think this raises an issue in terms of accountability?
On the issue of the CEO being definitely, because if you look at it, when was he appointed as the CEO? It was when? Is it more than a year?
October
2023. Yes.
That is the time the act on
was enacted, yeah.
Was assented. You see? So immediately you can see the rush. And when you rush these things, you must go wrong. If you look at it, for example, I came across a petition, or rather a case of Omtata, which has lodged in the court about the procurement of the system. Now, if you look at that petition, the system, the investors, because they are being called investors of the system, they were contracted on 9th August. And accordingly, they were supposed to develop the system for 2 years. You see, from now, 9th August, to somewhere in 2026, July there. They are supposed to develop, and they were supposed to, it was a customer-built system. They were to invest almost 34 billion shillings on development of the system. Now, August and October, are those 2 years?
No.
When did they develop this system? What system are they using? Because they were supposed to develop the system for 2 years. That is the reason why you find the problem which is there. You know, because they don't have a system. There is no system. And I would like somebody to show me that system. Because if you are supposed to build a system for 2 years, and you have been given a contract less than 2 months, and then you are shifting to chief, and this is the system which actually is supposed to prescribe drugs, patient, and all these kind of things. What system are they using? Has these people invested 34 billion shillings within 2 months? what happened to the system, the NHIL system? Or are they using the NHIL system? That is where the confusion is. Because you cannot tell me you have actually built the system, which you are supposed to build for 2 years. You have built it within 2 months.
2 months.
It's terrible. Is it possible? No. If you look at that act, the SHA Act, the SHA was supposed to take over all the assets of the NHIF. So are they using the NHIF system, or are they using this other system? You see? That's where the biggest problem is. They don't have a system. And if they have, they're using the NHIF. Because you cannot tell me, unless they are doing a abracadabra. Yes, that is the contract. And it is there. Umtata as president in the name. Anybody can read it. Yeah. How did they? That's the reason why you are going to the hospital, you cannot be treated. Because there is no system. And you know it was to be a connectivity all over the country, in every hospital. You see, that is the reason they were given 2 years. So that they are able to connect to all the hospitals, including the hospital providers, the health support providers.
So you attribute the current, what would be termed as failures in the systems of lack of it to the process being rushed?
I don't know why they were rushing. I don't know who. I mean, they should tell us which project, which system they are using. Yeah. And they should tell us whether they have spent that 4 billion shillings. So that's why my conclusion is there is no system. They must have been using a fake kit kind of a thing. That is the reason why they cannot, people cannot be in it. That is the contract. It is not, it is the contract. That is the contract they are supposed to implement. When did they implement? Yeah. That is where the problem is. And that's why if you look at it now, you ask yourself, why are you rushing the SHA? Can that give you the answer? Why it is being rushed? Yeah? These are 34 billion shillings here. Why is it being rushed? Yeah. You start implementing. And maybe these investors are not investors. So you start now collecting money because you will be paid from that money. Yeah.
Well,
maybe
and on the same note,
yes.
If this is pure transition from NHF to SHIF, where is the NHIF money going? Because if the money which I had paid in NHIF cannot be transferred to SHIF, I have to start afresh. Is that really a transition or moving? Because when you talk of moving, you take everything and go there. Which system is the government applying in this issue?
Right. I think critical questions being raised tonight as to whether the time frame one is enough for the transition and to build a system, which you say, Bernard, if I get you right, that unless they inherited a different system, the time was not enough to build a system.
There's no enough how? You have been given a contract on 9th August. And you cannot build before you are given a contract. How did you know you were to be given a contract? You perform, immediately you sign
the contract.
The contract. Not even the immediately you sign the contract. You must be handed over the site.
Right.
Isn't it? And then you start connectivity. How many hospitals do you have? Yeah? How many millions of hospitals do you have that you have connected even Lokitokyo? hospital in Lokshogyo or wherever else within 2 months, and you had indicated you are going to build this system, for 2 years.
All right, and we've asked critical questions, but even as we head to wrapping up, what is the way forward? Where do the solutions lie? What can be done to fix what the Kenyans, as we've watched them say, they're being frustrated, some of them at hospital, some of them have had to remain at home for treatment. What is the way forward what is the way forward, starting from the faith-based hospitals probably perspective?
The way forward, according to my opinion, is one, the government should declare the debts in the faith-based hospitals so that we can be able to continue to offer services to the patients who are coming in our hospitals. The other thing is, it looks a ridicule that a country, an independent country for 61, 62 years is still struggling with the health process of its citizens. NHF was established 58 years ago. It is now dying. It's already dead. It's not working. 58 years. Something which has been built for 58 years. Instead of upgrading, skilling, simply because, like, KICC is now old, we have to demolish it and build another one instead of refurbishing. That's what we are doing to NHF, which have been working very well. We came to the president, the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta. He came with a UHC in 2022. Where is it? Now, instead of building on that, we are now bringing a new system. Chief, go to the villages. People are saying, who you chief? You know, they are ridiculing even the chiefs.
All right, way forward, Bennett. And your closing remarks as well.
My closing remark. Let us eat herbal pie.
Yes.
Because they don't have a system. And they cannot claim they have a system. Because you cannot actually prove that they build the system, which they are supposed to build for 2 years. Go back to NHIF tomorrow. Tomorrow. Because it's a question of switching on. NHIF has everything. Then you start now looking for how you are going to implement this for the next 2 years. You are dealing with the people's lives. You are not dealing with, it is people's lives. I am telling you, I lost my sister. During that shifting, I lost a friend who wanted to be given a pager. They applied to NHIF because they were shifting. They could not approve the pager. What happened to that man? Will I ever see him again?
It's very painful.
And you are here, throwing, making a lot of money to prove a point. What point are you proving? People dying.
All right, thank you very much. Right there, that is Bernard Mushere, who has been a fraud risk management consultant with us, raising critical questions as to the transition from NHIF to SHIF. We have also had the privilege of hearing from Bishop Dr. Joseph Ngigi, a member of the NCCK, the body that has been leading in the policy of the operations of faith-based hospitals within the country. And critical questions continue to be asked even as people seek clarity on the transition and the way forward as to these matters. This conversation does not end here. Brian Amwai is going to be joining us shortly with a panel of experts as well, attempting to answer some of these questions or even raising more concerns on the same. Thank you so much for staying tuned. We're headed for a short break, but from me, David Kagina, have a lovely time.
Catch every thrilling moment of the English Premier League